Hello, everybody. Welcome to Obi Divination with 4 shells. We're looking at coconut shells, and we're also going to take a peep at cowrie shells, which is, of course, the same divination principle. So I'm not going to say too much here, and just other than that's what we're going to talk about, and you'll see it all in the presentation. So I'll start with the screen share. Let's see how we get this done from the beginning. Okay, here we go. Obi Divination, 4 shell divination using coconut shells or cowrie shells. And this is being presented by yours truly, Ianifa PJ Oshunyoyin Cannon. Other names, Ifa Pamelera and Falake. I like to say them because that's like blessing the space. Oshunyoyin means Oshun brings the honey. Ifa Pamelera and Ifa makes me happy. And Falake, Ifa makes me wealthy. So I'm grateful for those names, those blessings that were given to me through the names. I invite you to follow me on IG and TikTok at Bliss Coach PJ Cannon. So let's see what we're here to talk about. We're talking about 4 shell divination, and you can feel free to ask questions at any time. Probably best to reserve your questions at the end, but if something is not clear, feel free to ask, and if it's coming up, I'll be sure to tell you. So the objective is to help you communicate with your ancestors, communicate with your Ori. You have full authority under any sector or philosophy of this practice. You have full authority. You'll find under some sectors, they'll say, no, you can't talk to the Orishas unless you're initiated. We'll get to each individual preferences as you talk further with your elders, whoever you're under, or if you're under me or you speak with me. But you definitely want to be able to use this to communicate with your ancestors, communicate with your Ori, confirm any offerings and prayers that you are offering have been answered to altars and or shrines that have been assigned to you. You also may want to, from time to time, ask your Ori, ask your ancestors what they would like. And you will, as you get to really know your tools, you can also use them to ask and answer simple yes, no questions. Like, I want to say like a pendulum, but then I want you to also be careful, okay? So we'll talk further about that. Okay, so 4 shell divination. We're going to talk about the 4 shells being coconut shells. I'm looking for the other ones that I put away. 4 shells, 4 coconut shells. The ones in the picture, I have painted the inside of the shell so you can easily see the outside and the backside. And then the same principles can be used with cowries. This is considered the light side, the side that you see on the picture, and the reverse side is the dark side. So again, it's for the initiated and non-initiated alike to use that ancestor altar or divination, SU divination. I would suggest you confirm that with a priest, Ianifa or Babalao, and to altars and shrines that have been assigned to you. Non-initiated have shrines such as an Ogun shrine. It's not unusual for the uninitiated or non-initiated to have Eshu. You also may have altars that you have designed per instruction for an Ebo. They are not consecrated, but it's an altar which you are use in honor to represent the energy that has been recommended to you that may want to be present in your home. And you may use these tools to speak with them. Again, they are for yes, no answers. They are not to get profound answers as a divination tool to seek answers to problems, etc. The light side or the inverted side of the shell in the presentation have been painted white. And that's to make it easier, again, to distinguish the light side from the dark side. We cool? Okay. When do you use this divination technique? You primarily use it to confirm offerings and prayers have been accepted. That's your primary use. You may also use it to ask simple yes or no questions of your Ori and of your ancestors. And with further permission or acknowledgement from an elder, the assigned altars and shrines and that you may have. It is, again, not to be used for divination sessions to gain insight into problems. So the structure of the shell, we have the dark side and we have the light side. The dark and the light. The dark is considered feminine and the light is considered masculine. So how we get the dark and light, I say is because the woman's sexual organs are inside in that darkness and a man is outside in that light. That's one theory. Okay. So we're going to look at how do you ask questions when you have these shells. You're going to pose the question to get an answer with a simple or yes, no answer. And you pose the question for a favorable response. You don't ask questions like, do you want river water or do you want spring water? No, you ask a question, do you want river water? And you ask which intuitively you think may be the correct answer, the one that they're going to say yes to. The only time you repeat the question after you have an answer is if you get etawa. And we'll look at that, more details later. If you plan to ask a series of questions, take notes or have someone take notes for you. Ask me why I know. Because after you ask one or two questions, you'll be like, what did they say about this? What did they say about that? So write your answers down if you plan on asking more than one question. So you're not being a nuisance, repeating questions, confusing yourself, and even getting your ancestors, your Ori, the Orishas could get frustrated with you. It's like, they're almost like, didn't I answer that already? So you have 5 possible answers. Alafia, which is the same as Ogbe, and that's all light. Everything comes up white. Ijife, where you have 2 light and 2 dark. Etawa, which you have 3 light and 1 dark. Okerim, where you have 3 dark and 1 light. Or Oyeku, with all dark. There's also an opportunity. I want you to know that there are a lot of ways to divine in Ifa. And there's a way, many of you have seen me use kola nut. And also, as you get more advanced, we can look at how to line up these shells to get more answers. But that's really for people who are committed Ifa devotees, because you start getting into Ifa Odu and principles. So more advanced answers and interpretations are available as your study and devotion to Ifa continues. Remember, these are secrets, AWO, that you are learning. Advanced study answers coincide with the Ifa Odu. The lessons given today are available for anyone who wishes to use the system to communicate with their ancestors. Again, I invited everyone who has had a reading with me and has an ancestor altar set up, and some of you have shrines, and your Ori, which is your head, and no one can argue with you on those 2 things. And furthermore, assign altars and or shrines that I have discussed with you or an elder has discussed with you. So I invite you to please confirm with the priest at Iani for a Babalao before going deeper into interpretations. So what are the answers? You ask a question and you get 4 all the way up. That is a resounding yes. It's also Agbe in Ifa Odu. It means perfect alignment, blessings of peace and good health. And it is customary to fan upward from shells with both hands and exclaim, Alafia, demonstration, Alafia, Alafia, Alafia. You're excited, you're thankful, you're like, yay. So Again, use those. That is a customary, a traditional practice in Yoruba land. I don't know if all Lukumi use that, but that is definitely a traditional practice. And you're pulling forth those blessings to you. No other casting or questioning is necessary. You know you have a resounding yes. Ijife, that's yes. That is yes with the blessing. You have too light and too dark. It indicates you're receiving the blessing with perfect balance. It's considered the most balanced of all patterns, a clear yes, and acceptance of your prayers and offerings. Words. Everybody mute your phone for me. And no further casting is required. Please mute your phone unless you need to ask a question. And if you need to ask a question, say question. Again, this is being recorded. If you came in late, no worries. You'll catch up.
I'm trying to draw your boot.
Somebody has a kid with them and their phone is not muted. Somebody has a little bitty kid with them and the phone is not muted. Thank you. Atawa. Yes, with the struggle. We're looking at 3 light, 1 dark. And it says yes with a struggle. That was in my Baba notes. I have looked at it as it's like a shrug. It's like a yes. You know, yeah. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. So when you receive this as an answer, it's recommended that you ask again twice to see if the answer changes to Ijife, Alafia, or Okemre. We haven't looked at the or Oyeku. If you continue to get Etawa after asking it twice, I have found that there's usually a desire for something better or more clarity is needed to the question. For example, you may receive Etawa when you ask, would you like chicken? Which is, and the answer comes up a shrug. Maybe the ancestors are declaring or desiring more clarification. So you'll want to rephrase the question to ask, do you want fried chicken? Then you re-ask, and they give you a yes or no, or it'll probably, if they still want chicken, it'll still come up etawa again. So you might say, well, do you want baked chicken? And then, yeah, that's what we want. You want baked chicken from Kentucky Fried Chicken. They may even take you to that depth. And you may have to even say, well, do you want baked chicken with something else? And this is where you're going to use your intuition. Rephrase the question with more detail until you get a clear yes. Don't frustrate yourself with this though, because the more you do this, the clearer you'll become in your knowing what your shrines, your ancestors, your Ori want. But initially you may not be so clear. So if you are unable to get a clear yes, don't frustrate yourself. Just ask, do you want to receive the offerings without etawa? And then they may just give you a yes. If they give you an etawa again, take it as like, I can't figure it out. And sometimes you walk away and you come back, they want me to pour some barbecue sauce on that big chicken. It'll come to you to that kind of depth. You'll get clearer and clearer. If you get 3 dark and 1 light, that's like, no, we don't want that. So offer something else. Determine what more may be needed. Again, utilize your intuition, but do not repeat the same question or try to rephrase that same question for a more favorable response. You ask, do you want chicken? They said, no, they don't want chicken. They don't want baked, fried, curried, or any kind of thing else. Ask them about something else. So ask for something different. And when you get oyeku, that's an absolute no. 4 down, all dark, no. Do not rephrase that question to seek a more favorable answer. It's recommended you wash the shells or spray with gin after getting oyeku. If you are at your shrine or your altar and you're asking questions, you get an oyeku, it's time for you to see an elder. Okay, so those are the 5 possible answers that you can get. Again, I want to stress to you all that there are other types of divination once you get a sacred shrine, a consecrated shrine. a hand of Ifa. I'll also teach you, if you're still with me or you're interested, how to do Obi Divination, where we can go further in depth. If you've divined with me and I've used OB and I have 3 down, I have a series of questions I know to ask about you, if that comes up. If 3 comes up where we're saying it's a possible yes, I have a series of questions that I ask. I also am able to figure out the patterns to see the Odu that may come with that toss, with that casting. But with these shells, this is a simple yes, no answer that you're learning, okay? So we can go back for questions, but I'll keep going and then we'll get to some more questions. For best results, many of you on here have sent shells to me. I'm consecrating them and or washing them as described by Ifa. Right now, it looks like all I need to do is wash your shrines. I suggest you use your own personal shells as much as possible. You may be with someone and you don't have your shells and they have theirs. You can use theirs. And you can also if you feel comfortable, allow someone else to use your shells. But, excuse me, you want to develop a connection with them. A lot of people travel with their shells. So if you keep them on you, keep them in a nice bag. Occasionally place them on your altar, asking for added strength and blessings. And periodically spray them with gin, especially if you have felt confusion with them. If you, like, you know what, I got my questions all confused. I can't remember yay from nay. I feel like I'm asking the same questions twice, or I just finished asking a line of questions and I want to start a new one. Spray them with gin to clean them, to clear them. So how do you toss your shells? Hold the shells in both hands, place the shells close to your mouth, ask the questions with clarity and sincerity. Hands should be at your mouth when you ask the question. You're going to place, after you ask the question, excuse me, place the 2 shells in each hand. Owo tun, owo si, apebu odini wa, for can ori, for can oya, and then you let them go. Your shells are sacred. Do not play with them by asking frivolous questions, and do not practice with blessed shells. Practice with coins, using one side as the light and one side is dark, but don't practice with your shells once they have been blessed. Teaching demonstration on how to toss coconut shells, Obi coconut shells. So I'll ask the question. Please let me know my prayers and offerings received, heard, accepted, and answered. Owo tun, owo si, apebun, tinima, owo can ori, owo can. All you do it in the food, some people like to take it. But that's okay as well. So, whichever way you feel tune, or see it, they do it, they walk, or can read, or can they? Yeah. So that's it on that. But for additional information, follow me on IG and TikTok at Bliss Coach PJ. Of course, consider making my Oshun Yoyin Body Butter a part of your daily regimen. Ask your Ori if that's for you. Be consistent in your prayers and offerings to your ancestors and your Ori. Keep up with your Ifa readings at least annually. I try and do mine quarterly, and or have a priest confirm if you should need a reading. Ori washings and feedings should be done often, regularly, to bring balance, harmony, clarity, and consistency, and to keep you in Ire. Spiritual baths are another important element to add to your practice. If you have been assigned a shrine, it is important to learn Obi Abada divination for higher level divining. And if any of you have sent me shells for consecration blessing, please text me directly. We'll go over the shipping costs for me to send them back to you. If I need a rooster or a bird for your particular shells, then I'll let you know and give you the cost. Also, all of you who are on here, you may text me for a hard copy of this presentation. And if you receive this class complimentary, please consider making an offering to yours truly, Cash App, Zelle, or PayPal. All right, let's open up the mics. Questions. I'm willing to go back. I'm able to go back to any question, any slide you may have questions on. Any questions? Open up mics. Tell me you got it, you don't got it, what you think about it. Is
So,
it okay?
thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you for this. First, I guess I'm wondering about the direction that they land in. Like in the diagram, they're very square.
Yes.
So
No,
does it
they're
mean
gonna land all.
anything?
Good
Okay.
question. That's a very good question. They're gonna land all over the place. So don't throw them, toss them, and not, they never land like that. They never land like that. That's just for picture purposes. Um, which reminds me, I might set them up differently on the plate when I take the pictures. I might toss them so you can see they land differently. But you aren't going to, at this level, you aren't going to try and read the patterns. That's a higher level of learning. Ogbe, this alafia, no matter how they come up, that's alafia. No matter how they land, they would land in a straight line. But for more advanced, like you might get like this, may come up with a light at the top, a dark over here, a light at the bottom, and a dark at the bottom. There, if you lined it up horizontal, vertically, you could read an Odu from that. But you guys aren't at that level. We're not doing that. You're not going to get into Odus at this level. Did that answer your question?
Yep, it did.
Oh,
Thank you.
yeah. So what you're looking for these 5 patterns. All light, 2 dark, 3 light, 1 dark, 3 dark, 1 light, or all dark. And the names of them are Alafia for all light. That's what we do. Alafia, Alafia, Alafia. Ijife, 2 light, 2 dark. You can dance for that too, because that's perfect balance. Etawa, 3 light, 1 dark. That's the, yeah, okay. So that's the one that you really want to get for more clarification. If you get 3 dark and 1 light, that's an absolute no. And Oyeku, all dark is a no. And if you get that consistently, then you want to come to, you would want, like if you're before your ancestors and everything you ask, they're giving you Oyeku, talk to me, talk to a priest. Because something is going on. Now, once you learn colon divination, many of you have done that with me. When they go down all dark in the colon divination, that means isegun. That tells me victory over enemies, depending on when I ask it. But for here, it's an absolute no, and leave it alone. They don't want chicken. And if you ask, you want some chicken, they say no. Do you want fish? No. Do you want anything from me? No. Then put it away, get away, talk to me. If it's coming up all dark, if it's coming up 3 dark, 1 light, that's just a no. That's not like a, something. If you get Oyeku consistently, something is going on. Okay. Any more questions? Any other questions?
So it sounded like you had maybe another tutorial video that you already made. Are you going to send that to us?
No, that little tutorial video I did to embed in here. So that's the extent of that tutorial. You're talking about the one at the here? Teaching demonstration.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I just did that to embed in here.
Oh, okay. So when you send us the slideshow, that little tutorial will be in there.
I'm going to send you the hard copy of this, but this is recorded, so you can play it back whenever you want to.
Okay.
So you'll have a hard copy to add to your notes. And what I'll do is I look at this. I saw a couple of typing examples here, even though they're defined further, I'll put here Alafia all light, and I'll say yes. Ujife, too light, too dark, and I'll put yes. Etawa, 3 light, 1 dark, that's like a maybe. Seek further clarification. Okaran, no. Oyeku, no. May require further clarification from an elder. So I'll update this chart to make it a one-stop shop for you. But you'll probably, until you look at this, if you're like me, you'll need to see it. Like it'll be like, what is Ejife again? Ah, Ejife. Well, it does say too light and too dark, but you may, need to see the picture with it.
Yeah, that's why I was asking for the video. It's helpful to see and hear you do it.
Okay.
So
Okay, I'll do that. I'll do that, and I'll make it a video as well. So you want to see them when they land, and I can show the camera when they land what it's called.
yeah.
Okay.
I'm
That's
I'm a, I'm a visual, like visual and auditory. So if I see it and hear it, like that helps me to absorb it a little bit better.
That makes sense. I can do that. Be happy to. Anybody else have questions?
So for now, we're just going to be practicing with coins until we get our shells.
Yeah, just text me if you've sent me your shells, because I have quite a few shells here. And I have painted, I will paint the inside for you guys, because I have discovered when you toss them, you have to, sometimes you won't, you have to look closely. And if it's dark, I have to feel to see if I'm on the inverted side or the protruding side. I guess that's concave. So I even mine that I've had for probably 8 years, I painted on the inside, and I discovered that when I'm looking at them at a glance, it makes it easier for me to determine which side is up and which side is down. So when you get yours, you can, even if you don't have everything memorized, feel free to go to your ancestors with your notes and ask your question and toss with your shells, with your OB. That's what we call these, OB, to toss with them. But don't sit at your kitchen table and say, let me see GFA, and play with them. Don't do that. I don't recommend doing that, because you are seeing answers, and you have learned this from an Ianifa, and they have been blessed. So there is an energy in the answers. And so it's a live element. So that's why you don't want to practice and just, to see patterns with them. If you want to practice and see patterns, buy some shells that you won't get blessed or consecrated, and you won't be using, because not everyone gets their shells blessed and consecrated or consecrated. I recommend that. But what I'm saying, I guess what I'm trying to say is, know that this is a live tool. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm glad you said
Yes.
that, because I was gonna ask, can we buy another set that has not been consecrated to practice with? But you just answered that.
Yeah, you can. I would tell you, really, get you get a rock, get a coin, really, seriously, a coin. Paint one side white and the other side leave dark. Because these have been designed Possibly. I don't know who, you know, maybe some Chinese organization might be just breaking out coconut shells. I don't know, but I'm going to assume these have been designed with the intention of being divination tools. So there's an intent and the energy for them to be taken seriously. Does that make sense? You know what I would recommend you can let me back up, because I remember now my EA gave me a tool, gave me something to practice with. So you could do a shell, break it yourself, or buy you some and practice with it. So yeah, go ahead. Change my mind. And also, based on what you have learned today, I still say, don't hesitate to go before, when it comes in the mail, don't hesitate to go before your ancestors and ask questions and use your notes. You have that authority. So you can practice with asking real questions. And that'll help increase your intuition and your muscle in communicating with your altar. Any more questions? If you got it, say got it good.
Got it good.
Got it good.
Got it good. Thank you.
You're quite
Got
welcome.
it good for now.
Got it good. Okay. All righty. Well, again, this will be available for for you to okay, thank you, Kelly. It is pretty straightforward. The deeper we get, like if you're some of you have gotten readings because I need to know where I am, where I stand, and I trust Ifa with the answers, and that's the level of my commitment. Some of you have gotten readings and it's apparent that this is your path. Some of you have gotten readings and you know that you need a hand of Ifa. When you get a hand of Ifa or you get an Ogun shrine, you'll want to learn, become more developed in your divination skills. So we'll take it to the next level. And that's all I have for now. I think that's all we've got for now. Again, so that's it. Don't forget to text me if you have sent shells to me so I can get yours blessed and send them back to you. And alafia, peace and blessings. I love you all. Thank you for attending.
Thank you. Love you too.
Okay, bye-bye.
Good night. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Good night. Thank you.
Thank you. Good night. Bye-bye.